All right, guys. Welcome to week 7 of season 4 of the Fantasy Trail. I'm Matt, along with
Mike
JT here. Oh, simultaneous.
Yep. And guys, it was quite an interesting week.
I don't know. I didn't like it too much.
I can see that, JT. Well, it is kind of funny that a lot of discrepancies in some of the scoring. A lot of really, really low scores coming in. What do you think might be causing that, guys?
Well, I can't speak for everybody, but injuries.
Yes.
Injuries and buys. I think
Yeah.
you're not playing your A team. But you know what? If you look at the beginning of the week, most of the scores were coming in real low, and they did pick up with the late games, Sunday night and the Monday night. So,
Yeah.
But let's start off with the high score of the week, and that was Angela putting up a 198 against Colin, who put up a 124. So, Colin would have, I think he top 6 score, but absolutely just destroyed. And that started, Aaron Rodgers with his 6 total touchdowns.
I mean, it is the game of a lifetime, and I will say this, the Packers are one of the teams that I didn't drink the Kool-Aid on, particularly because I don't like them, but I will definitely say, they could win in multiple ways now. They've won the ball, they've won games by running the ball, but then they could also have a passing display like Rodgers did this week.
Yeah. Oh, and how about the fact that he's doing that without Devontae Adams?
Yeah. Sometimes, Jay, I can say this, that sometimes without that number one guy, sometimes our quarterbacks are forced to spread the ball around a little more and are sometimes a little better when you're not beholden to the number one receiver.
Yeah, I think that's a counterintuitive point, but go ahead.
Well, I would use OBJ. His top 16 games, they're 3-13.
Well, okay, but then you would argue, the Giants' passing attack is so much better without him.
The game, some of his lowest games, they have a 500 record.
And that was
yes.
Pick on the bench. McCaffrey, who's averaging 25 points a game ish.
Yo, and put Ertz on the bench. And I mean, it's astounding. I know she had 2 incredible games, but a 198 is nuts no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Well, you say 2 incredible games with Rodgers and Marvin Jones, but I would say the Sonny Michel game was nuts too because he looked terrible.
Yeah, he was projected for a 10.
Yep.
Well, I mean, but
helping your projection.
42 yards, but 3 touchdowns, amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Marvin Jones, I had him on the bench in another league. It just tells you what you know, and you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, understandably, he was on waiver wire in some leagues.
Yeah.
He'd had one good week other than that. Like, a good week. And,
sure.
It's crazy to look at. I was looking at the standings this morning. Angie's up to second place in points.
Really?
Yeah.
Only Brian's ahead.
I think this is her second score of the week.
Yep. And it's a monster.
Monster week.
And, Colin did not have a bad week. Colin
got hit with buys pretty bad, too.
Yeah.
A couple stars.
Yeah. But none of them really hurt him. And
just looking at the score, Watson, has a good game. Just doesn't get in the end zone as much. Certainly moves the ball up and down the field.
Yeah, Watson had an okay game, but Aaron Rodgers tripled him.
Yep. That's that.
All right.
Yeah,
next, we have Joel, 6-game winning streak, beating the Michael Thomas, 113 to 110.
Whatever the curse of the kicker was for you last year, she's got the exact opposite.
And Ezekiel Elliott Sunday night really helped her out. Allen Robinson.
One of the games.
But Matty Ice here absolutely kills her.
And it didn't even.
Well, Matty Ice got hurt.
Yeah.
But
they both had that happen. To be fair to Michael, Mahomes went out in the first quarter too.
Yeah, he and Michael's kind of struggling with Knox as his tight end.
Yeah. Well, he thought he had Herndon coming back, and that didn't happen with Olsen out.
Yeah. But you know what? Eckler continues to. Oh, and Michael gets a 0 from his kicker, which is always a.
Yeah. Oh, who missed a bunch, right? It wasn't just a 0, but missed a.
Only missed one.
I believe Michael voted in favor of eliminating kickers and defenses.
I have a question. Was it a 40-yarder? It was, a.k.a. it would have won in the week.
Yeah.
Real? Yes, it would have.
You know, Eckler continues to be huge for Michael. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Emmanuel Sanders now that he's on the Patriots. I've heard it both ways.
No. 49ers.
49ers. Yeah. I've heard it both ways. You know, 49ers run too much, or he's clearly the number one and he's going to get the target.
Yeah, I think they run because they have nobody to throw to. So I love that move for them. I think that's brilliant by them.
Yeah, middle of the year is tough, though. It's always tough with receivers.
Let me tell you quick from just, again, I see Joelle's perspective a little bit more because I'm sitting next to her while she's watching. She went upstairs and kind of had given up almost on this week because she was down by so much. And Allen Robinson had like a 6 with about 5 minutes to go in the game. And in the epitome of garbage, I don't know if you were watching the end of that game.
Oh, that game. Trubisky was terrible.
Oh, he was terrible, but they got 2 straight onside kicks.
Yes.
And both of them, one of them led to a touchdown for Robinson, and the other one led to a multiple catch drive for him. Mm-hmm. And he went from a 6 to a 24 in 6 minutes of garbage time and brought her to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, she has a chance. She's down 16 or whatever. And then she gets a 19 to Zeke to win it. Or excuse me, a 27 out of Zeke to win it. Like she had no chance at 5 minutes to go in the game in a 4 o'clock. She has had a golden horseshoe up her butt for the last couple of weeks, and it's something.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Michael's Mahomes injury.
Ooh, the night of us ripping apart that trade. Tamala, you shyster.
Jacoby Brissett would sure look good for him, wouldn't it now?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I just couldn't believe it.
It just can't be predicted.
No, of course not. No one could have seen that coming.
But that's the whole point behind a backup quarterback. Is because if your guy gets hurt, you have someone to go. I mean,
yeah. And I'll be honest, he'd been gimpy for a few weeks. There were at least a few signs. No one sees a dislocated kneecap coming, but there were a few signs.
There were some signs.
And Malcolm Brown put up a beautiful 0.
Being gimpy, he was still top 4 quarterback in the league.
Oh, I think he's an every week start. I mean,
of course he is. But he didn't look the same. He didn't look the same. He'd had 18, 19, 20 after 3 weeks of 30.
And I do think that he is starting to face some adversity. That first year went very well. They were a very healthy team. All his targets were healthy.
He's 30.
But you know what? This very well could help Michael. It lets him rest up that ankle, gives him 4 weeks off. That's week 11, couple weeks. I'm assuming Michael's going to make the playoffs pretty easily.
Maybe.
Whoa. I mean, no offense to Michael. I think he's a really excellent owner, but I think that's a bold statement. He just lost his number 1 quarterback. The waiver wire quarterbacks are a hot pile of steaming garbage. I was looking at them tonight. And yes, he's 4th in points, but he could easily lose that when you're losing your 30-point-a-game quarterback. I don't know.
It could get tough.
I think I'm bold.
But I think if he can hold on till I think week 11 that's the week after their bye, the ankle will be better. He'll come in and I'm assuming he's going to be back to Mahomes.
Well, I think for you to say
I think the minute Mahomes is back, he could very well be Mahomes. I think that's a little bit of time though now.
He's lost 3 in a row. And that's 1 week not having Mahomes.
All right.
I think it'll be tough.
It'll be interesting.
I think it's going to be tougher than you think. And he's a good owner. He'll make it work. I really do think he might make it work, but it is going to be tougher than you think, Tamala.
Oh, definitely. So Jake beats Rich. Jake puts up a 144, a good score for Jake, who's been struggling the past couple weeks.
Finally got some speed performance.
Yep. And Rich put up a 108.5.
Yeah. Look at both their benches. It's an all-star squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean,
that's.
I have a question for you. Is Minshew a starter over Mayfield every week?
wrong team.
Yes.
Oh.
I have another
See?
question. Another question. I think for the first time in fantasy history, I don't think there's ever been a lower score than Sam Darnold's score.
That's not true. I think that
Name one.
6.
I can't. But it was like it was like the top, one of the top.
Who was it? I need a name.
Either name it or I'm calling out.
You need a name. I'll believe you if you give me a name.
All right, but I think Darnold is a good pickup though.
Can you imagine if Jake
had
had
a really
played
bad
that?
game, and I could be mistaken. Did Jameis Winston ever have a game like that?
I think he threw for more yards if he did. Like where
That's
it
possible.
ends up in.
Look,
like
I'm not.
three.
I'm not saying that there is one. I'm saying that I'm just trying to run my memory here.
Yeah, kudos to him for being the first name on the tip of your tongue.
What about Nathan Peterman?
Say that again.
Nathan Peterman.
Oh, that's a good Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Um,
But no one ever could have had him on their team. No one would have ever had him on their team.
Ryan Leaf, 1998, San Diego versus Kansas City.
That was before the ESPN app.
One completion, 15 yards one for 15, 4 passing yards, 2 interceptions, 3 fumbles lost, and 1 yard rushing.
You're going back in time here, man.
You are going 21 years back and hoping that was back when fumbles didn't even cost us a -2. Nobody even played that way. I think that's the lowest score we've ever seen in this league.
In this league,
yes. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
The Winston came to my mind. Like, I think Jameis Winston.
Yeah. All right, but on to the actual matchup. Kudos to Jake for picking up Murray, because not only did he get Murray, but if you look at the balance of Kamara going out for Rich, that's an incredible swing.
Yes, it is.
And not
just how it tilts the
But not only picking Murray, like he's stashed Murray for a while.
Yeah, he's that on.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, lots of people would have dropped him by now.
Yeah, it paid off. You know, we keep those back sometimes for this exact situation, and that really paid off. Other times it doesn't, but that was interesting. What is your gentleman's take on the Josh Gordon situation? Are you up to date on it?
I heard that did they put him on IR? Am I incorrect?
They put him on IR today, and then his agent came out and said he's healthy, he's fine. As soon as they put him on IR, he's gonna ask to be released and wants to sign with another team.
Interesting. I did not hear that.
Is he is he on any type of drugs or anything again?
I mean, one has to
make sense.
something else is going on.
So what I had heard is even when he was healthy, they didn't want to involve him too much in the game plan and center around him too much, just in case something did happen and he was off the team.
Relapsed.
What a weird Patriots receiver season. I mean, you can't have too weird of things.
Wait, didn't I take a bet? I bet someone. I was like, he will not play 16 games for the Patriots. And people were like, oh, yes, he will. This is going to be his year. I can't remember who said it. It may have been you, Tamala.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you narrow it down to all the people you bet with, that's at least only 75 names you need to go through.
And I said, I just can't believe that Gordon could consistently play. I can't.
It's a situation, and obviously New England's going to be fine because they brought in Sanu, which makes me vomit. But
and N'Keal Harry's supposed to come back.
That's right. So I don't know. It's a weird move for Jake though, because he potentially loses him, but he's got so much depth at receiver. It's the spot he can take it the easiest.
But I think I heard a stat. I know this isn't either team, but when you go with New England, just how dominating that defense has been for that team.
Yeah.
If they were a quarterback, they'd be like the 4th ranked quarterback.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's painful.
Well,
But-
I mean, and that's
Wow.
what I think is somewhat affecting Rich as well, because it is somewhat like limited with Brady's numbers and everything. He's not needing to air it out. They're
Oh,
running the ball a lot more. It's just not needed.
Yeah, because I mean, in
I mean,
years past, Brady would
I'd
air it
be
out.
curious to be back on that stats amount. I'd be curious to know how many times a defense outscored a quarterback on the same team.
Well, I think they're using total points because I think the Patriots have something like 144 points, and like the next closest team has like 89.
Well, yeah, but even so, they have 144. Brady has 143. They are outscoring Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll tell you, it's the way to go if you had a 42-year-old quarterback.
Yeah. No,
You don't want him
it's-
dropping back. You don't want him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yep.
Well,
All right.
listen. Credit to Rich. He picked up Valdez Scantling. Nice little 21 there.
Yep.
But nobody else showed up. Jimmy Graham, a pretty good game. Freeman, pretty good game, but just a lot of garbage other than that. Tough week for him. You know, he had a lot on a bye. He lost his top 2 picks, and he played the wrong quarterback. I think it's time to start sitting Brady.
I think that it's very possible.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Although, but that
And Jake's just going to reload. He's got Odell coming back. AJ Green's going to be there one of these days. He's got
Really?
clearly Sam Darnold's -7 to throw in there.
I'm not sure if AJ Green's going to be back.
I'd give it a
Really?
couple weeks.
Do you
I
think move him? He's saying they're going to trade him, is what he means
Yeah.
before the deadline.
I think he'd be back if they did trade him. I think with them not trading him, he doesn't want to play for them, and he wants to be healthy so he can get that contract.
Fair enough. All right, what matchup's next, buddy?
All right, JT, let's just pull the Band-Aid off.
Go for it.
Let's do it.
JT got doubled up, 175 to
Yeah.
157.9.
Yeah. Well, let me just lay it out for you. It didn't hurt that bad because I knew it was over so fast. I was done so quickly. Within the first quarter of the 1:00 games, I lost Thielen, I lost David Johnson, I lost Will Fuller, and I was like,
Well, you didn't actually lose David Johnson. He just wasn't.
"Oh, yes, I did. He did 1 carry, and then they announced he was not playing for the rest of the game."
Oh, did they actually announce it?
Yeah, they eventually announced. They came out and said, "Oh, you know, he's dealing with the injury. He may have re-aggravated." I mean, Chase Edmonds was on the sideline vomiting repeatedly, and they just kept putting back in the game.
But you know what? I must say that Thielen catch was absolutely.
Wait.
Oh, it was incredible! It was
Let's
incredible.
go.
I just wish he hadn't sacrificed himself. I'm not mad with my squad. It's the worst week I've had, but I
Yeah.
will say I think it's kind of a fluke. I played the wrong quarterback, but other than that, I made every decision I would have made again. And I don't know.
And again,
It
Jay,
just-
even your quarterback is a hindsight's. You know what I mean? Like hindsight's 20/20
I
on
don't hate
that.
that. They put up 27 points. They just happened to get Edmonds do everything. I don't know. I don't think I would have probably beat Brian anyway. Let me put it that way. Brian dominated because I think Brian put up an incredible week. I would have my
And
score would have.
Hopkins came back a bit here.
But you know what? I think Ridley, his arrow is only pointing up with this new trade. I think that will
I
a
agree
couple
that.
targets.
Yeah. And I need him to because I'm really hurting. Losing Thielen and Fuller for me is a rough go.
Yes.
Are you
I've got
nervous about your
Hmm?
Are you nervous about your defenses?
No, Minnesota's got Washington this week, so I feel fine, and I dropped the Chargers. I'm nervous that I don't have enough good players left anymore because Ingram's on a bye, David Johnson's hurt, Will Fuller's hurt, and Adam Thielen's hurt, and those are 4 of my top 5 players. So I am in trouble.
Get David Johnson's backup somehow.
Well, I mocked you, and I deserve all the ridicule for it. I don't think it would have been a good idea for me to trade my backup quarterback because, I don't know, somebody that traded backup quarterback with you took it right up the butt. So I'm not saying that that's the greatest move either. But, I agree. You were right. Edmonds had a lot more value, and I deserve some ridicule for that. But no one could have seen that coming either.
No,
It's very difficult to say. It takes up a bench spot all year. I hang on to the handcuffs the same way, and I think oftentimes it ends up biting me.
Yeah.
I mean, what were you going to say tomorrow?
I mean, even if you had him, I don't think you would have played him because you thought David Johnson was going to be healthy. And
That's exactly right. I would have had him on my bench, and I'd have been miserable because of it. But you know what? I don't know. I'm hurting though. I'm in rough shape. I don't feel great about this week. I'm lucky that I'm catching Rich, but Rich doesn't have a horrible team.
And you never know with Rich. He could put up. He has the very capable of putting up that huge week.
Oh yeah, totally. The way I've kind of laid it out, and I mean Casey's kind of been joking about it, but he's going to pass me in points, and I have so many of my big names out that my pathway to the playoffs is wins. So if I can't get wins, I'm out because I don't think I'm going to be able to put up enough points to compete with the people ahead of me. So I need this win against Rich really bad. This week is super important. And
I have a question. Does anyone know about the health of Kamara next week?
TBD right now. No announcement, but they got a pretty easy game. I want to say they're at home against Arizona.
That's big for you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think if he's not 100%, they're going with that winning streak, they'll just let him rest.
Yeah. I love Brian's squad. I think he did such a good job drafting. I'm so impressed by his team. Like Lamar is just a great call. Cook has been just a great call. Andrews was such a
Jacobs is a running back one.
Yeah. The only bust he's
one right now.
Montgomery's been the only one that's really kind of let him down. That Patriots D, I mean, it's just one thing after another where I mean, Brian I still think is the team to beat. His consistent points are just head and shoulders above everyone else. So
yeah, as I get to play him this week.
Sorry. Well, honestly, Tamala, it felt better to lose by this much than it did to lose by a few.
And so let's take my matchup. I squeaked by Rachel 109 to 104.
Yeah, that was a close one. You guys were back and forth all day.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, Goff, that was the wrong. I should have played Bissett, but I mean, I'll take the 27. And with McLaurin and Williams only giving me a combined total of 2.7, 4.7. I'm lucky. I'm very lucky with this.
Yeah. One. Are you looking at benching Williams now? Is he done for you?
Most likely, but this week I don't like any of the matchups I have.
Tamala, that's one of the weirdest things for me. I was so high on him going into the year. I thought he was great last year with that offense, and he has been
honestly. I think McCoy has really taken away a lot of his.
Yeah, he takes away some, but he's not doing great either.
No,
Kansas City's. I'll be really honest. Kansas City's offense just isn't what it was, even when Mahomes was playing well.
Yeah.
Well, it's not what it was last year, man.
Mahomes wasn't playing like he was, and the past 2 weeks, McCoy's actually gotten more snaps than Williams.
Yeah.
So, but like,
take a look at Rachel's squad though, and she's got two moves that could have been made where you put Jamal Williams in for, let's say, I don't know, Singletary. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but Singletary hadn't proven anything. He was coming back up.
I think it's very clear that the Bills cost Rachel this loss. If she had played Allen as quarterback, and if she had not played the Bills defense.
Well, I mean, you can't fault her for that one against Miami at home when they've been playing so well.
Yeah.
I think the Jamal Williams one is the most questionable one because he's been very good lately. He's had 13, 11. The game he got hurt, where obviously that was not great when Philly decapitated him, and then 24 and 13. I think he's worth playing over Singletary, even if Singletary's healthy.
And he is getting some looks where you think Jones would get them. I will say that there is somewhat of a split there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is. I mean, I don't know. She didn't have a horrible week, but she got let down by a few guys.
Clearly think of Jones as the starter. I mean, just in your mind.
Yeah. She had, 5 guys, 6 guys get below what they were projected at. That's always tough. That doesn't mean she played a bad lineup. It just means she didn't have guys perform.
No. And I don't know. I've had a lot of you know, players like the last couple garbage time, and then first quarter they put up decent numbers, and you think it's going to be a decent game, and then they do nothing for the rest of the game.
Yeah. But you played still a good quarterback. As much as you were joking about the Brissett thing, that's not why you didn't trade for him necessarily to play that time. You had Goff against Atlanta. You made the right move. You got a 27.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that won you the week, man. I mean, him and Jones won you the week.
I mean, when you consider some of Goff's earlier weeks, I mean, like you made the right choice.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, and that takes us to our last matchup with
boy,
Casey beating Mike.
School lunch on the line. School lunch on the line.
30 to 123.
Eek.
And you know what? Casey did not have a great week. I mean, his biggest thing was the Rams defense, which is surprising. And then he played Kirk. But it's not like he had anyone on his bench. Scarano, you were let down.
Whoa. Let me pause you there. Could have put Crowder in. Could have put Sanu in. Could have put Ginn in.
Okay.
You're saying that there was a potential to put someone in that Kirk spot.
There's 4 wide receivers he could have put in, all of who scored more than the 0.
Yeah. No, I wasn't even talking about that, but I'm just saying overall general moves. That was a mistake. I don't think he meant to do that.
Oh, I don't think he did either.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that, but I think he could put in any of those guys. All of whom at least got something.
I made no mistake. Russell Wilson he's really actually panned out for me very well this year and just didn't have the best week.
Tough game for him.
Tough game for him. He didn't look good. They didn't look good. And I don't know what I mean, I think he's now ranked number 2. I'm going with him next week though.
And you've
had a resurgence from Diggs, though. That has to make you feel better.
Yeah. Look, Diggs has had a resurgence. Just a couple of the ones that have really let me down. It's just going back to that first, second round pick because I had the last pick of the draft. It goes back to that Mixon Smith-Schuster.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it really is.
Mixon is one of the biggest busts we've had.
Yes, Mixon is one of the biggest busts in the league. But in my opinion, he was the best running back on the board.
Yeah.
And I had
position ranks Mixon 35, Schuster 41.
That's what I mean.
12th, 13th pick. That's tough.
12, 13 pick, and I don't know. I was wrong. It's hard to say.
Many people would have made those moves in your place. I don't think it was bad picks. It's just not panned out, and it's really tough when it's both of them.
Yeah, and it's both of them, and I go on the waiver wire a couple times a week, man. Don't know what to tell you. With our league, there aren't that many guys there.
No, it's been pretty picked clean. I have to say, I've been impressed with the commitment to this year.
I've noticed this year, people have been following the strategy I've adopted the past couple of years, and unless you really need a player, not actually putting in waiver claims.
Waiting to just do the drop ad.
Yes. Right. Keep your waiver.
I've done that one. And there is some good news. I mean, Corey Davis has had a little resurgence.
I'm putting it in week.
I think Tannehill helped me a lot.
So, all right. So, guys, we're doing something a little bit different this week. We are not going to do rankings because, no one put them in, and I didn't send out the form. So I'm not really that upset, especially since we're doing this a day early. But I want to talk a little bit about the rules and all the discussions we have with the rules. And I just want to say I'm really surprised that we're having all this, I'm going to say pushback, and I don't know if it's pushback or just discussion, because the only rule that's new is the $10 for playing someone who was not going to play when it's been announced clearly beforehand. And I'm surprised about that because that was not an issue. We have not had that problem. There were 1 or 2 issues last year, and we were just looking at it as a competitive balance. We're not looking to punish anyone. We just want to make sure people are playing their players to make sure the matchups are fair. And this was actually more towards the end of the season, when maybe you're out of it and you're not paying as close of attention to it. and I can't remember like when our league became so many people not playing players, especially when really this week was the first really bad bye week we got into. And as far as the IR rule, I understand, but like we had that rule all of last year and not a peep about it. I'm a little flabbergasted. I feel bad for JT because as the commissioner, he's kind of all this is kind of being thrown at him, and he's the one coming down with the hammer. He's being bedelled. Maybe I should get JT's a clown.
Goodell. that was a very underhanded compliment at best, my friend.
But like, I mean, JT's not making these rules. He's just enforcing them as best we can. And it's something we all agreed on. And I mean, I kind of looked at it as, when I'm driving, I may speed, but if I know I'm speeding and I get a ticket, I'm not really upset. I may be upset with myself, but like, I screwed up and I'm dealing with it. I'm not going to be like, well, speed limit should be faster. I don't know. That's my take. Scarano, what do you think?
I'll give you my take. I don't mind every single year examining every single rule there is. It doesn't bother me. And there's sometimes that we have a rule and then I see it in action and I don't like how it looks. I don't like it. Look, we have a symposium every single year. You can text your votes in. My concern does come from this idea that like, we had this idea that this was going to just address a couple of issues and then they're all coming from all out of the woodwork from different people. Guys, look, out of the three of us, and I'm not saying that like we're great owners or anything. As a matter of fact, we've made some poor choices, each one of us. But we've managed to never have this problem. And I'm not that great. All I'm saying is between 12 and 1 o'clock, I check my team.
Yeah.
So I think you got to pay up when you don't have it. I don't think it's that hard. That's my true point. And I'm willing to listen to any single rule, including the IR one, including the fine for not playing players one. You may even get a vote out of me to change it. But you got to pay up.
Yeah. I mean, I think we also need to look at why we put these rules in the first place. Like, we didn't just throw these rules together. Let's go make some crazy rules to make life difficult. We were worried about the competitive balance. We were worried about how some people were massaging the IR rule to get an extra roster spot. Look, I understand but it hasn't worked out, and if it affects you, you're more angry about it than if it never affected you. Yes. But I think one of the important things in any league you're in is you have to know the rules and how they affect you. I think one of the reasons we had punt returns, that came at first because that rule was not known. We're like, why didn't I get my points for that? And it took a couple of years. We got that rule changed. And that's absolutely fine. I think that a lot of people, we have some people who just kind of gloss over the rules and it's standard fantasy. I've played fantasy. I don't need to look at the rules. But, each league I've ever been in is different.
Yes.
Our league has always been different in our quarterback points have been a little bit different than the standard scoring. So I think it just takes know your rules and know exactly what's happening. Maybe we're just getting older and we have lives and we can't watch it as closely as we have in the past. Maybe we have a more involved league than we have in the past and they're more concerned about what's
It's true, happening. But you also have more access to it than you've ever had before. You used to have to go to a computer. I used to have to go to a desktop computer and set my team. I've gone to the library to set my team. Sorry, it's on everyone's phone now.
Is that what you tell people you were doing there? I just don't think there's
too many excuses. That's all I'm saying. And listen, I'm all ears on every single rule.
Yeah.
I'm willing to get rid of any single one.
And I understand that people are upset, but I think people just really need to understand that, especially it's not JT. It's not. No. And like you just some of these text messages, and I don't know if it's just how they're being read.
Sure, and if it is just for all humor, I'm always up for a good laughing and teasing JT. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and let me, if you don't mind, I appreciate both of you and your 2 cents on that. I do think text is always going to make it hard, and I'm sure that there's sometimes where my frustration comes through on there without a doubt. I have hit a little frustration with it because, I do feel like we put this out there and we are one of the most enjoyable leagues for me because we have those rules meetings. I had a blast doing that the last couple of years and legitimately talking about it and hashing out changes and debates and prepping things ahead of time and having the list of things. And I think it's really helped to make our league better. And I think it's constantly an evolving document that's going to continue to get better. And we may decide after this year that we don't like that. But it did come from a place of being like, hey, we're worried that suddenly there's a little more money on the line. I was tallying it up with somebody the other night. And if you count all the fines and you count the trophy, Michael Thomas has collected $810 this year. And when you start looking at money amounts of that amount, you can't have somebody throwing it away and giving that money to somebody because they didn't check. And I think that was the impetus for the rule, was to say like, hey, this is a little bit more now. It's not the $20 we used to do. So let's make sure that it's on an equal playing field so that everybody has the same fair chance. So maybe we need to readjust. I was sitting there thinking about it last night. I thought, is there a penalty of something we could do where it's not financial, but you lose 50 points from your total so that you're decreasing your chances of making the playoffs through points or something? I don't know. We can go back to the brainstorming board, but I do want everybody to remember, like, it sucks to be the guy to have to tell somebody that. And I don't want to do it, but it stems from the fact that we had one league member that he was frustrated too, but he paid up right away the first time he did it. And that was Rich. And I want to give him credit because he was bummed out about it, didn't want to do it. But, he was just like, screw it, I'll do it. And then I think when others have had it happen, I get that frustration because we do have stuff that pops up. But it's like Mike said, it's so easy that I think if we spend a couple minutes and just set an alarm for 12:45, double check your phone, make sure, and then I think this is preventable because, like Matt said, it didn't happen in the years past when we had less information. And if that's the case, and now all of a sudden we have a fine and somehow it's happening, it seems like, how is that possible? So, but here's the best day I'd like to move on. I think we're good. I think we've finished. Casey's paid, Rachel paid, Rich paid, Colin paid, and based on the vote with Brian, everyone unanimously agreed that he did not owe because he did text me. And as the commissioner, I think that is a fair way of saying, hey, I didn't do it. I think next time it'd be better if you put it out to the league, but I think it's completely fine to say he's all good. So I believe that puts everybody at a clean slate. I think if we're being honest, if we ever put it to a vote, I don't think anybody's getting voted out. I don't think we're as cruel-hearted as that sounds. That's going to be a real tough thing.
We're cold enough to put fines
in.
To that.
Yeah, and I mean we all
$10.
So yeah, and so where we're at right now is everybody's square, everybody's done. It's certainly been brought to enough people's attention that it just shouldn't happen. It really shouldn't. I mean, it shouldn't happen really in the first place. It really shouldn't happen now. And I think if we can do that, then we make it through the rest of the season and we readdress it. If you guys want to change it, I'm all on board. But I will. It's easy.
And like I said, I'll listen to every word that anyone says at that symposium. Promise you. I'll go in 50-50, like a scale of justice.
Yeah.
I won't even be biased. I'll listen to every word you have to say.
Now can I ask a question? Because I wasn't at the rules symposium. Because I know when originally we were talking about it, I had the $10 in my head as going to charity. So is this just going entered into the winner's pot?
That was a part of the discussion.
What was interesting was that this was initially put out as $5, and we had a pretty good contingent of people there, and I had your votes and I had Rich's votes. There was only two people. There was only 2 people that we did not have votes from, and we had them on text if we needed. And with that, whatever it was, people were all in on this.
Oh, yes.
Everybody was in. I mean, the only people that voted against this, I think, was Rich, ironically enough. And it passed with flying colors. And so what fascinated me was that everybody was rah behind this. And like you said, until suddenly it happened to them, like the speeding ticket was like, whoa. And so that's where I think my frustration came out. And I apologize if it did these last couple of days, but it really did, because it was like, whoa, I didn't come up with this. I didn't necessarily like make this up out of thin air. Everybody voted and they were in on this. It was like, yeah, let's punish those people that don't do it.
It did go from 5 to 10 to be a conversation. Hey, how about we put it out for $10? And it was like, oh yeah, it's 10.
It increased, Mala. So it went from 5 to 10. People not only voted in, they voted it up.
But they could very easily just get their money back at the end of the year with the increased pops, right?
Well, yeah, that's why I was kind of joking with Casey, but it's like, hey man, if you think you're going to sneak in with points, that's your way to get your money back.
Yeah, I don't like
but
that.
But you are right. It was hawkish. It started at 5, and like just via conversation at the table, it went up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, interesting, peculiar.
Plus, we have the suicide pool next year, so someone can get real hammered during it now, guys.
But you know what? I mean, I just hope with going forward, I think all these discussions that we are having are good discussions. It will make the league stronger in the future. But I honestly hope that no one feels like the league is being unfair and it takes away the fun of being the league. Because I mean, that's the whole point we do the league, to have.
Yeah, I really hope so too. And that's why I didn't want it to turn into that. I love our chat because most of the time it's fun, it's teasing, it's good natured, and it did get a little less fun. And I'm sure part of me was I fall for that, but I didn't want that to happen. And I want to go back to having fun because we're a good league.
Yeah,
I agree. Listen, guys, just pay it up. This doesn't have to happen. It really, really, really doesn't.
All right, I'll implement a new rule. If you do not pay up, you're going in the dog bowl.
Oh,
I would be happy to do that.
That might be the scariest thing yet.
All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. We did it a day early. I hope you guys have a good week. Good luck to the Bills this week as they take on my Eagles.
Oh, good luck. Get out of here with that.
I don't like that.
We'll talk to you next week.
I feel that was as underhanded as Roger Goodell comment.
All right. Good night.